Thank you, Mr. Correa, and thank you for your leadership in putting this together. And I know this shocks us all, what's happening at the border, because in our country, family is an institution. It shapes every aspect of our lives. And if you just listen to Ronald Reagan, who painted a wonderful picture of what family means in America, he said, quote, "The family has always been the cornerstone of American society. Our families nurture, preserve, and pass on to each succeeding generation the values we share and cherish, values that are the foundation of our freedoms." That's Ronald Reagan talking about the family as an American institution. Well, today, family, that concept is being torn apart and challenged at our own borders. Screaming children are being ripped from their parents' arms. These parents are fleeing government violence, domestic violence, religious persecution. They follow generations of people who came to America seeking a better life. Remember that America was founded by people fleeing religious persecution in Europe. And we know this story all too well about what's happening at the border in San Diego, where last week Dana Sabraw, a federal judge appointed by George W. Bush, refused to dismiss a lawsuit challenging family separation. The lawsuit involved a Congolese woman and her 7-year-old daughter, 7 years old, who were separated at the San Ysidro border crossing after applying for asylum. As the New York Times described, the girl was, quote, "taken away screaming and crying, pleading with guards not to take her from her mother." And then she was sent to Chicago, thousands of miles away. They didn't see each other for 4 months. 7-year-old girl. This is common practice. After children are taken from their parents, many parents don't have any idea where they went, who's taking care of them, or how to reach them. Now, this mother and their child were reunited, but only after a legal challenge and a DNA test. This mother was looking for the life all parents try to provide their children, one of security and comfort, one of hope, one of opportunity. You know, we don't know the exact number of children who've been separated from their parents, but we do know that just one is unacceptable when their parents were just trying to give them a better life. It's also potentially unconstitutional, because I know people in this chamber still care about that. In his opinion, Judge Sabraw said that family separation, quote, "arbitrarily tears at the sacred bond between parent and child. Such conduct is brutal, offensive, and fails to comport with traditional notions of fair play and decency." He also reiterated that these same constitutional rights are guaranteed to the non-citizens who come to our borders for asylum. The American Psychological Association called on the Trump administration to stop this cruel practice, citing increased anxiety, depression, psychological distress, and developmental disruptions in children who were separated from their parents. But as parents, we don't need the American Psychological Association to tell us that. Imagine it's you and your children. Imagine how you would feel if you, trying to take care of your kids, had one torn away from you. We had one account of a woman nursing her baby. The baby girl was ripped from her arms while she was breastfeeding at a detention center. How many children will we have to suffer before we have to say no more? Thankfully, we can do something here. We will not admit every family who comes and asks for our protection. We understand they don't all meet the criteria for asylum. But while they wait for a decision on their application, we can treat these families with respect and dignity that demonstrates American values to the rest of the world. Tearing families apart as an immigration deterrent is repulsive, and it is not us. I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Correa, for his leadership and for holding this conversation on this important topic. It shocks the conscience. I hear all the time from my constituents who are horrified by this. We need to stop this, and we'll continue to come back and speak up if we have to. But this needs to end, and I want to thank you for holding this hour.
I want to thank my distinguished colleague and gentleman from California.